Alright, so now we're just gonna do the welcome section. This is this section right here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to first thing first, you will notice in user story number 10, the height of the welcome section should be equal to the height of the viewport. That means from here to here, that should be the full height of the welcome section. From here, up here, where the Chrome starts, to down here, to the taskbar, right? This is my viewport. So what I'm gonna do to target that is I'm going to go to welcome section. Welcome section. I'm going to set my welcome section to the height of the welcome section to 100 view height. So that's from up here to down here. And if I scroll down a little bit, boom. You see that? From here to here, it's 100% view height. So from here to here, basically 100% of the screen is my welcome section is now covering. Alright, I'm going to have to do the exact same thing for the projectile section, but we'll get there. Alright, so now I'm going to set my background color to like a gray, like, what is this? A dark gray. So I'm going to set this to gray. I'm going to say gray, and then okay, and now I am going to target my my text. And as you can see right now, the text is basically nowhere to be found, but we're gonna find it soon. So first things first, let's go to welcome section, H1, and I'm gonna set the font size to 100 pixels, and I'm gonna set the color to white. And there you go. It was hiding here all along. This is what I'm talking about. So your view height is from up here straight to down here. I don't know, my recorder is not catching that, but it's all the way to the bottom before you reach your taskbar. So now what I want to do is I want to move my I want to move the text down to here, right? So it's at the exact center of the screen. If I had a grid right now of the screen, like this would be like the intersection, like directly in the middle, right? I would put everything in directly in the middle of the screen. So the way to do that is, first I'm gonna cut this in half, and I'm gonna say like 50 pixels. Oh, that's a little too small, but yeah, but it's there. We all know it's there. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put these two in a container. So I'm gonna say div, and I'm gonna give it a class of contain. Oh, that's not how you do things. Div dot welcome container. I'm gonna say W container. Well, let me just say welcome container. Okay, and now I'm gonna throw everything in there. Now, I want you guys to pay attention to what I'm about to do right now. So, you notice how Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a border around welcome container so you can see, you can kind of get an idea of what's going on. See the height and the width, the exact height and width of the welcome container, which is the container with the text of the H1 and the H3, right? So first things first, we're going to go to welcome container. Let's say welcome container, and I'm going to say, I'm going to give it a height of fit content, and I'm going to give it a width. Okay, so for you to understand what I'm doing, first what I'm going to do, I'm going to set the border, and I'm going to say set it 2 pixels solid red. Huh, that's not showing. What the heck? Oh, I am oh, it's a class. It's a class. Okay, I think I should change it to an ID. Truly, I think I should just change it to an ID. There's only one welcome container, and I'm not gonna reuse the code. So, all right, I'm okay. Okay, so this is the width of my content right now, and based on what we can see, so I'm gonna enlarge it. I'm gonna make this the font of my text larger, a little larger, so give it 100 pixels so you can kind of see what's going on. So the H1 ends right here, so I want the H1, I want the welcome container to fit my content. So wherever my content ends, I want the width to be exactly that, and just like the same way the height is. So the width will end right here, and the height obviously ends right here. So this is why I'm gonna say width, and I'm gonna say fit content, and it fits the content that's inside it. Now, what I'm gonna do next is I'm going to go to welcome section. Remember in the previous video, when I was pushing these links to the right, I use display flex on the nav, and then I justify content to flex to the end, right? So there is also a way I could set the content to the middle as well. So if we go back down, I just have to set this to display flex, and as you may notice, as I set this to display flex, my height now goes all the way down. So just to counter that, I'm just gonna set the height as well of the container to 100 to fit content. Sorry. Okay, so now it fits the content. Now I'm going back to my welcome section file, welcome section, the welcome section itself. So I'm going to say justify content, center. And as you can see, like, it moved to the middle, right? And the cool thing about the flex, display flex, is that the same way there is a property that can center my content and make my left side and my right side equal, so my content would then be centered. The same way it can be centered horizontally, it could also be centered vertically. So to do that, there is a property called align items, and I'm just gonna say center, and it centers my property vertically. So the space up here and the space down here are now equal. And now I have a better view of everything. I could now change this up so I could properly modify everything. So now I'm gonna say I'm gonna go to welcome container. I'm gonna change the font family for both H1 and H3. I'm gonna change that to Calibri, and I am going to reduce the font size of my H1 to about 70. That's like, yeah, pretty much it. I'm gonna mess with my H3 as well. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna say welcome section. Let's scroll up. Welcome container, sorry. H3. So I'm gonna give it a color red. And of course it's gonna be like a darker red, not this light red. Slightly darker. Something. Yeah, I think that's alright for me. Okay, and also I want to make my H1 a little bolder, so I'm just gonna say font weight bold, and okay, going back to my H3. I'm gonna change my font size to about 50 pixels. Let's see, too big. 25. Okay, and I'm gonna set the text align to center. So I'm gonna set the content, put the content in the middle like that, and I feel like it's a little dark, so I'm gonna and it's very thin, so I'm just gonna leave it at that, and I'm just gonna change make it italic. So I'm gonna say font style italic. All right, so we are basically done with the welcome section. So I could remove this border right now, and there we are. Boom, we are halfway there. We just have to do the projectiles and the context section, and then we'll be good. So I'm done with this section. See you in the next video for the projectiles section.